The Stars look to douse the Flames as they begin their Western Canada road trip and build off their win on Monday. Let's talk about it next on Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105.3 The Fan and play-by-play voice of the Chippewa Steel. Be sure to subscribe, never miss an episode, free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Happy Hump Day, Wednesday, November 1st, the month of October is over, and the Stars begin their Western Canada road trip. 6 of their next 8 games are on the road, a big important stretch, and playing the front end of their first back-to-back tonight against the Calgary Flames, who are very, very desperate this time of year. It has not been a very good start for the old Flames. And we will talk about that and deep dive into some more about how the Stars can take advantage of Calgary. Also, a little Wyatt Johnston appreciation, because I don't think many understand how phenomenal he has been just this season, of course, which I think a lot of people are starting to appreciate. But last season was so impressive, and we should just really take some time to reflect on him, and we'll do some shooting star picks. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. So this Calgary Flames team, coming off a loss in the Heritage Classic, was a phenomenal spectacle as well at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers, who, of course, the Stars play tomorrow. But the Flames are now losers of 5 straight, 2-6-1 overall to start the season, which is no bueno, second to last in the Western Conference. And, of course, this was a team that really underachieved last year, didn't make the playoffs, and 2 seasons ago won the Pacific Division. When we remember the Stars played them, they were a number 1 seed, which is pretty hard to imagine now. And they got a new GM, they got a new coach, and it's panic time, to say the least, right now in Calgary. It's kind of the old adage, too, in golf, where you can't win a tournament on Thursday, but you can certainly lose it. And they're starting to get to that point. They have a lot of guys that are unrestricted free agents. They have 3 or 4. Of course, they got rid of Toffoli in the offseason. So they're really in need of a win. And it's going to be a very, very desperate team on home ice. And their 5-on-5 offense has been pretty much completely non-existent. Like, not there. Averaging just above 2 goals per game. They have 11 goals at 5-on-5 all year, 4th worst in the NHL, and just 6 goals over their last 5 games. And of course, they've lost all 5 so far. They really need their big boys to get going. They've all struggled. Andrew Mangiapane, who I think is a great little player, has 6 points in his first 9 games. But you're talking about guys like Huberdeau, Coleman, and Doobie, Lindholm. Elias Lindholm just has 2 goals in his first 9 games. Those are the type of guys they need to get going, and they're all really struggling. And I mentioned some of these guys who are UFAs. They're looking for contract extensions. They're not going to get it at this time of year. The Flames may be a totally different side or a totally different situation next year, because they may have to be big sellers at the deadline. And of course, this is really early, but I'm just trying to set the table for how this team has played so far. They have very struggled right off the bat. They've given up 33 goals so far in the first 9 games. That's fourth worst as well. So they have their work cut out for them. And the Stars, coming off their win on Monday, played their best 60 minutes, can really, really take advantage of a team that's struggled so far. So we'll see how they fare. But the Flames have not been up to par so far. They haven't gotten great goaltending either. Markstrom, who of course was their number one a few years ago, he actually has pretty decent numbers for how bad they've played. He's got a bad record at 1-5-1, but a 901 save percentage and a 2.88 goals against average. We'll see if they start him or Vladar, of course, is their backup, who the Stars have faced a few times. He's 1-1 so far, 842 save percentage, 4.51 goals against average. But the Stars team has started to find itself. Pete DeBoer went back to his original lines from opening night on Monday, and the offense struck gold. Just tons and tons of opportunities, getting chances after chances, stacking shifts, and building confidence from what it really looked like. And they got help from guys that have struggled a little bit out of the gates. Mason Marchment, after being sent down to the fourth line, has found something. And I think played his best 2 games as a Dallas Star over the past week, which is really, really good sign. He's making plays, not taking as many penalties, and being a part of the offense in a way. Him and Duchesne seem to have a good connection, which Duchesne looked so good the other night. Of course, scored his first goal as a Dallas Star. A couple of multi-point guys from Robertson and Johnston, who we'll get into a little bit as well. But phenomenal start to the season for the Stars, of course, who are now 5-1-1, 11 points second in the Central Division. Jake Oettinger was your October Player of the Month for the Dallas Stars, which is very well deserved. He is 4-0-1 on the season so far. He's given up 9 goals, 940 save percentage, and a 1.74 goals against average. I would expect Otter to go here against Calgary on the front end of a back-to-back. His history against the Flames is pretty good. I don't need to remind anybody of that. So Pete DeBoer walked with him, and I'm sure we will see Wedgwood tomorrow on opening night, or not opening night, excuse me, against Edmonton. Back-to-backs are always interesting. And of course, it puts a lot of pressure on you to win the front end, because sometimes you don't know what start you're going to get off to in game 2. I find it intriguing because some teams will come out because they played the night before. They're a little bit quicker to find their legs and get to their game. And then as the game wears on, it's really tough. And some teams are very slow, and then they start to build and find their legs. And same towards the end of the game, it becomes a bit tougher to win that loose puck race and win that battle when you're a bit tired. But it is early on the season. The Stars haven't played a lot of games, so it may be actually a blessing in disguise. And I think the Stars are catching both these teams at the right time. It will be the first game for both of these clubs coming off the Heritage Classic, so they may be able to catch them in a bit of a lull. But as I mentioned, the Flames are going to be desperate. Just 6 points from Andrew Mangiapane. He leads the way for them, tied with Elias Lindholm. They just need help at 5-on-5. So the Stars team, again, can take advantage. On Monday, they were just buzzing around Columbus, who is not a good 5-on-5 team. And this is another team they can take advantage of. The Flames have not been getting great goaltending in the process, and they're not getting offense for a team that really needs it. So a big opportunity here for the Stars to pick up some points. 3 Western Canada games. You can pick up 4 or 5 points out of the 6. That'll be huge coming back home to face Boston next Monday. So some important road games on this stretch, but they have some teams they can certainly handle. And from Monday's performance, if they can build off that, continue to do things well, win faceoffs, and just take the eyes away of the goaltender. It's something against Merzlikins they did versus Columbus that I love. They just got so many bodies in front of the net mouth, and they're forcing him to make tough saves, and we're getting to their second chance opportunities. When they're around the net mouth and an opposing goaltender's giving up rebounds, it can really, really take advantage. That was something I don't think they were hopping on as quickly as they would have liked. And I think that bled into some of the execution, the lack of execution, I would say. They weren't getting a lot of those second chance opportunities. And some of that's reliant on a netminder, and they've run into some pretty sharp goaltenders so far. And Merzlikins gave up some rebounds, and the Stars were able to capitalize. Case in point, the Matt Duchene goal to give the Stars a 3-2 lead. Let's talk about the leading scorer for this Dallas Stars team. It is a young and bright 20-year-old who was drafted not too long ago, and I think has become a very underrated player in the National Hockey League. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Indeed. When you're drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish you could do the same thing with your business team? If you're building a roster to win the league, you need Indeed. Indeed is a hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match assessments and virtual interviews. Hate waiting? Indeed's U.S. data shows over 80% of the Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Indeed knows that when you're doing everything for your company, you can't afford to overspend on hiring. Visit Indeed.com/lockedon to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Alrighty, here we go. Locked On Stars. Thank you so much for all your love and support. How about the Texas Rangers? One win away from the World Series. Another big win in Game 4 yesterday. It's been a phenomenal start to the week for sports in DFW. Be sure to check out Locked On Rangers. Of course, I know many of you are already switching back and forth. It's going to be tough again. We're going to have to multitask tonight with the Rangers and Stars both playing, but nothing we can't handle. And it could be a very, very special night in the Metroplex, which is very, very exciting. So I was thinking about this yesterday as I was driving around. Man, Wyatt Johnston has been so good. And of course, he was a guy when he was drafted, had not played a ton of games leading into his draft year because of COVID and whatnot. I think he played 7 games or so. He played 68 games in the full season before that and lit it up in the WHL. I think he had 124 points. So obviously the talent was there, but he was small, wasn't very strong, I guess you could say, and who knows what he was going to look like coming into camp. And the next thing you know, he makes the roster. And the next thing you know, he plays all 82. And as a 19-year-old, did a lot of amazing things for the Stars. And he was an effective member. He wasn't just a piece of the puzzle. He was an integral part of the offense. I mean, he was playing with Jamie Benn. He's living with Joe Pavelski. And eventually he gets suited up next to Dodonov, and that trio just hits the ground running last year. And I think it really shows just how impressive he has been, and he's going to start getting a lot of talk. And I think he's the next star superstar. He's kind of in that Thomas Harley. He's not quite there yet. Harley, of course, is a little bit older and is starting to really find his game. Of course, Wyatt is a few years ahead of him now, which is pretty remarkable. But Wyatt Johnston is going to become the next star superstar. I mean, look at last year. He was tied in number of goals for rookies. He was top 5 in scoring. And he won 43% of his draws, which I think is pretty good for uh, a rookie, because a lot of young guys come to the league, they don't realize how hard faceoffs are. It's a completely different style and completely different game at the NHL level. Most young rookies really, really struggle. And of course, below 50% isn't impressive, but 43 is nothing to scoff at. There's some guys that are abysmal in the dot. It takes a while. Guys like Crosby really struggled coming into the league. Jonathan Toews. It is a hard skill to really master until you get a few years into the league. And of course, as you become more of a veteran, you can cheat a little bit more. There's a little bit to that as well. But this year, of course, leads the team 7 points right now. He's winning over 50% of his faceoffs. I'm sure it helps when you live with Joe Pavelski. You can probably sit in the living room and work on technique while Joe's son drops you pucks. But 3 goals and 4 assists at a multi-point game the other night. And he's buzzing around, which is just so fun to see. And he's so quick, and his confidence, his ability to maneuver the puck and getting it in a shooting position and wiring it towards the net. There's not many guys that can do it at a high level like Wyatt Johnston. There really isn't. And we're just watching him sprout before our eyes. And I think it's really, really impressive and so fun to watch. And as mentioned, he's just been a very integral part of this offense already. And he's just 20 years old. He averages around 16 minutes of ice time. And of course, playing with Jamie Benn doesn't hurt. You have that leader with you, a bit of a a policeman, so to speak, where you don't hurt Johnston. Otherwise, you're going to have to deal with Papa Bear and number 1-4. But I think it's just fun to reflect and think back about a guy that we did not know much about coming in. All of a sudden, plays all 82, leading the way in scoring this season with 7 points, and just making an impact. And people are going to start to notice him. I was on board saying he's going to score 30 goals this year. And he can do it. He's looked like it. He could have more. And he could be surprised and lead the Stars in scoring. Who knows? It looks like Robo is going to be more of a facilitator this year. He's not the finisher. I'm sure the goals will start to come, but look, teams are going to take away number 21. He's not going to get many opportunities to shoot the puck, especially on the power play. So he may have to be content with dishing it off to his line mates, and they're going to have to find scoring from other ways. But this offense is going to be balanced, and with Johnston really coming into his own, this team can score in so many different ways, and they have so many different options, which is exciting. And the Stars have another young superstar. We talk about that 2017 draft all the time with Miro, Robo, and Otter, of course, who are your cornerstone pieces right now. And you follow that up with Wyatt Johnston, Harley. It's the future's so bright. And I know we're in the present and we're living in this moment right now, but the Stars' future is very, very bright. And they have a lot of cool pieces. And that's not even to mention the guys they have down in the AHL who are rocking it right now. I'll have to touch on that and about Stankoven and Bork down in the AHL, who have kind of went off to a very, very hot start. I'm sure we'll see a couple of them sometime this season, because they look NHL ready, and they're tearing it up already down in Texas, which is a great, great sign. Okay, let's wrap this up. Do some keys to the game. Do our shooting star for tonight. And we'll get out of here and we'll enjoy your Wednesday night. And we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Sleeper. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Wyatt Johnston could score 50 goals. Of course, the Stars could host the Stanley Cup or hoist it, either way, and you could win big by playing Daily Fantasy Hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app on Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. And you don't even have to just play hockey. You can do the Major League Baseball. Of course, maybe just one game left for those Texas Rangers trying to close it out. You can do NFL, college football. You can do anything. The app's so easy to use, and it's great for team chat functionality in the app. You connect with other fans as well. And of course, you can win money 100 times your cash, Stars fans. So all you got to do is pick studs and then pick more or less on certain stats, goals, assists. And if they do more or less, you can win 100 times your bet on Sleeper. You need to correctly predict the outcome of 8-player stats. And you heard me, Stars fans. You can win 100 times your money by playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and win big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and location availability. Time to wrap up today's episode of Locked On Stars. Wednesday, November 1st. The month of November is here. It was a good month of October for the Dallas Stars, who are off to another good start, 5-1-1, and they've picked up a point in every single game but one so far. Give me your predictions for the next 3 games on this Western Canada road trip. What will be a successful trip to you? I would say 4 points would be more than satisfying for me. 5 would be great, and 6 would be out of this world and a lot of fun. Edmonton is probably going to get back on track. I think the team's too talented, and when you have McDavid, can't count them out. And Vancouver's a good squad. They're on the rise right now. New coach, and everything's kind of clicking for them, so that'll be a tough game in Vancouver this weekend. But first, taking on these Calgary Flames, trying to build off their win on Monday. So some keys. Got to dominate 5-on-5 again, because Calgary has really struggled, have not had the offense. Don't give them life. Don't allow this team to have any sort of life. Bury them while they're down. They're already desperate, so it's going to be very, very important to win the shot total battle too. In their losses this year, well, not their losses, but a few of them, but they've, especially in the opening period, I should say, have lost the shot battle in the first period and have been outshot by a hefty margin. I think if they get off to a quick start and they're getting pucks to the net and not having Otter or Wedgwood under siege, whoever starts tonight, I think it's going to be Otter, not be underwater in this first period, because if you give this team life, they're going to start to roll, and you don't want that to happen, obviously, at home. Winner or losers of 5 straight, let's make it 6 and not deal with it. And I think they'll have a lot of success. It's a team that can dominate 5-on-5, and we've seen it with the 4 lines and the combinations the Stars have. They can be a very, very deadly offense, and they need to make it happen against this Flames team. I'm expecting big things tonight, okay? I hate to be that way, but I do. And that will lead me in to my shooting star in one component of this Stars hockey club right now that has not been good: the power play. The power play needs to get going. Need to execute. It looked better on Monday. I will give them that. They were moving the puck around. They were getting some looks, just not beating the goaltender. They have too many good players. The personnel is too good for this to be a struggling PP. It should be a PP specialist team, okay? And that's why the shooting star is Miro Heiskanen tonight. The big man going to have a phenomenal game on the back end. Thomas Harley, to his credit, has taken over the last few games and been very spectacular. And not that Miro hasn't, but Miro is going to make sure he says, hey, hold on, young buck. I'm the captain around here. And he's going to have a big night. Multiple power play goals for the Dallas Stars. Multi-point night for Miro Heiskanen. Stars douse the Flames at the Saddle Dome, and they walk out of there with a win. Smell you later, Calgary. Enjoy 6 straight losses. We got to play Edmonton tomorrow night. Boom. Otter's going to have a big game, hopefully. He's been sharp, of course. And I like Miro Heiskanen to be tonight's shooting star to add some punch to this Flames team who has not been good at all. And it's almost panic time in Calgary. They have some decisions to make if these results keep piling up like they are. And that will wrap up today's episode of Locked On Stars. Thank you. As always, go ahead and hit subscribe. Never miss an episode. We're almost to 2,000 subscribers. I can't believe it here on Locked On Stars. The community is growing, and we're going to do big things. As always, love your comments, engaging. The feedback's always very much appreciated. Having lots of fun with you as we're into the month of November. It's a great time of year. Love this month. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Fall time's great. It's already pretty much winter here. It snowed, if you didn't hear me yesterday in Wisconsin. So I'm dealing with that. But I'm sure all of you in the Metroplex are enjoying a wonderful fall so far this season. Enjoy your Wednesday. Texas Rangers trying to wrap up the World Series today. And of course, we got Stars Flames. So enjoy your Wednesday night. I'll have your live reaction, of course, after the game. And we'll break it all down tomorrow on Locked On Stars. So see you tomorrow. And so long, Stars fans.